driving to your friend's house, or maybe you're driving to your grandma's house, or maybe you're taking a trip across the country. As you're driving, you notice the car is starting to handle a bit weirdly. You hear a weird noise, but you keep driving on. All of a sudden you hear a pop, a boom, so you have to pull over because you can't drive anymore. You realize you have a flat tire. Now this is a very, very common occurrence, but unfortunately a lot of people don't know how to change a tire properly. Well, right now I'm going to show you how to change a tire, starting with the tools provided by the manufacturer of your car. Now, start with the spare tire itself. This specifically is a donut tire, or a compact spare tire, some call it. But note, if you have a SUV or a luxury sedan, it'll usually come with a full-size spare wheel and tires, so keep that in mind. We go on to the jack. This specifically is a scissor jack. If you have an SUV or a truck, it'll come with what's called a bottle jack. But for today's purposes, we are going to stick with the scissor jack. The way that this works is it has a loop right there, and your manufacturer will supply you with this rod with a hook on the end, hook inside the loop, and turn right to go up, turn left to go down. It's very, very simple. Next we have the tire iron. This loosens and tightens the lug nuts, and the lug nuts are what holds the tire onto the hub. Now, beginning our process, what we do is go to the side with the flat tire and take your tire iron, put it on the lug nut, and slightly loosen it while the tire is still on the ground. Don't completely loosen it, just slightly loosen it. Now, take your jack, and what we need to look for is a jacking point. This is basically what's on this car, a spot weld where you place the jack underneath. On a truck, it's usually the solid axle in the rear or front, but if you're unsure of this, check on your owner's manual and that'll usually tell you. With this, jack up, using your tire iron again, completely remove the lug nuts, either with the iron or your hands, and remove the wheel. Proceed to take the spare tire and place it on the hub and hand tighten the lug nuts. Ensure that they're hand tightened. Now, take your tire iron and tighten them as much as you can. Note that if you have a rear-wheel drive car, your front tires will spin freely while off the ground. And alternatively, if you have a front-wheel drive car, your rear wheels will turn freely while off the ground. So keep that in mind. If you have a four-wheel drive car like this, then that won't happen. Now, what you want to do is, using your jack, lower the tire onto the ground, just touching the ground, but don't lower the car completely. Tighten the lugs as tight as you can, then lower the car and check your torque and just make sure to tighten it up. Remove the jack and take all of your tools and put them in the trunk of the car, including the tire. Then what you want to do is make sure everything's tightened up and drive on your way either home or to a tire shop to get the tire repaired or replaced. Now, something to note real quick before we end, with the spare tire, if you have a donut, usually you can't exceed the speed of 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour. If you do, the tire might explode, so ensure that you don't do that. Changing a tire is a very, very useful skill to know. It'll save you a lot of time, money, and heartache. Thank you for listening.